Hello, this is Rish Outfield, and this is Tales of eBay Horror. This episode is going to be a little bit different. My camera is broken, and I thought I'd just shoot this little bit right here on my phone. You know, I've never been comfortable in front of the camera. I very often feel like I look like this. So this one is just going to be audio. I recorded this little tiny bit to frighten the children. So it's true eBay horror. And then the rest of the time it's just going to be audio. I hope you're okay with that. If you're not, buy me a new camera, I guess. Talk to you soon. Okay, so this episode is going to be called Too Much Information. And here's the thing. I'm mostly going to be painting Star Wars collectors with this brush, but any collector of whatever it is, action figures, comic books, baseball cards, tribal dildos, can be obsessive and overly picky, and they want what they want. But in my experience, the Star Wars people, as I've said before, are the absolute worst. And part of me tries to understand, but because I sell things on eBay and I've been burned multiple times, it is just really, really hard to sympathize, to truly feel for these people. They want everything to be perfect. Everything has to be perfect. And I found out years ago, more than 10 years ago, that anytime I had put something up for sale and I got an email that said, "Can you describe the box? Can you describe the condition of the card? Can you describe the bubble?" You know, anytime that they asked for more information, it was because this is one of those people that needs things to be perfect, that needs things to, remember, mint on card. And I used to go through and I would describe the things as best I could, but I don't anymore. And often people would send emails and say, "Can you take more pictures? A close-up picture, a picture of any, you know." And I used to do that. I used to take multiple pictures and send it to the prospective buyer. But this is not an exaggeration, okay? I've never had a person buy an item after I've sent them the multiple pictures. And so now I just ignore those requests. And you know, if that makes me sound like a bastard, I guess I can understand you feeling that way. But think about how many things your average seller has, and then multiply that by 20, and that's me. And then think about how many times a week I will get emails like this. Right here, I'm looking at one. May I see a picture of the top, bottom, and both sides, please? Thank you. No, because you won't buy it, and I will have wasted my time. But this is an email that I got, and it was so ludicrous that I felt like I had to share it with you. I hope that you find this entertaining. Okay, RJ Cool is the username. There's also a little number on there because, you know, over 200 other RJ Cools had taken that name. I'm going to read in its entirety the email. Item inquiry, : Is the item in the pic the exact item I would receive? Are there any flaws, missing accessories, to include display stand, broken, damaged, loose joints, parts, accessories, or non-working parts, or any parts glued together? Is this figure fully posable? Is there anything not mentioned in your description of this item that a buyer should be made aware of before bidding or making an offer or purchasing? Thank you in advance. Now, usually they'll have something similar to that in these requests. They want to know if there's been any water damage, if the sun has bleached it, how's the paint? You know, those sorts of things I totally understand. But I had never gotten one like this. This is practically a short story in itself, isn't it? And I was going to say it amused me. No, it didn't amuse me. I just ignored it. But then I thought about it. I couldn't stop thinking about it. Now, granted, this is definitely a stock email that this person sends out. They just copy and paste it in every single one. And that's cool. But I had never gotten this extensive an email, and so I decided to respond. You know what? Okay, sorry, I just took a couple of pictures of my response so you can read along, I guess. Because this is a video rather than audio. I like audio so much more. So I did respond to the guy in kind. I wrote, I'd have to grab him and check the joints to see if anything is stuck. But it's never been removed from the plastic or displayed, so it should be perfect. I only have the one item, so it's the exact one from the photo. As far as anything you need to know, yes, the figure had a curse put on it by an old Chinese sorceress. She told me, and I quote, that anyone who touches or buys this figure will have great hardship in their life, stress, fixation on detail, loneliness, and an obsessive need to obtain more that can never be truly satisfied. In other words, she was describing anyone who ever collected action figures. And I sent that off. You may say I'm a dreamer. No, you may say that that was poking somebody with a stick or being a jerk. Maybe. But I did send that off, and I got a brief response back. I assume the collector was amused by my little jab, and we parted ways. And that's fine. I wonder if you sell on eBay and you get these kinds of requests, do you pay heed to them? Do you try to describe every single minute flaw? Do you take multiple pictures? You know, the flash was on in the picture for your listing. Can you take another one without the flash? It's a totally reasonable request. But no, I won't, because you're not going to buy it. I describe the item as best I can, and I try to always mention whether it's been opened, whether it's been displayed, whether it's from a smoking environment or not. But, you know, you can only go so far. If they want it, they want it. I've been tempted before, and maybe I've told you this before, but I've been tempted to go through every single one of my Star Wars figures and just take them out of the box. Take them off the card, cut them off the card, and put them in a much, much smaller box because, hey, the packaging is what takes up all of the space, and keeping the cards from getting bent, keeping the bubbles from getting smashed, it's a pain. Anyhow, I think that's it. This was just an experiment. We're going to see if I can put out an episode like this that is just my voice rather than my face. And I appreciate it. If it doesn't bother you, then I can do many more faster, and you don't have to see, the horror that is my visage. Regardless, speaking of horror, this has been another true tale of eBay horror. And this has been Rish Outfield saying, make sure to fox the edges of the card. Hello there. This is Rish Outfield, and you are watching, Vertical Video Syndrome.